Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, it's time for another Mass Make Monday video. Today we are going to do stack and whack tags, and this is inspired by a video I saw on Gayle Agostinelli's channel. I'll leave a link to that video below. I did go ahead and do a little bit of prep work, so if you want to play along, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need your stack of decorative papers, and you're going to need 5 sheets of whatever decorative papers you want. I've got some of that Crafters Consortium 6x6 pads, some book page, some ledger, some more book page, and since the Crafter Consortium's double-sided, I've just flipped it over. And they all need to be the same size. So I'm doing 3x6 because I was using the 6x6 paper pad. And then, so you need 5 sheets of decorative paper and then 5 tag bases, and I just used some of my coffee dyed paper. And so I'm hoping to get 3 stacks done. We shall see how it goes. But so that's what you're gonna need if you're gonna play along, and I'm gonna set 2 of those aside. We'll start with this one, and I will start my timer and I will explain how this works. So I've got my 45 minutes set. So what we are gonna do is take our stack of decorative papers, and again, these are all 3x6, and we're gonna add some paper clips to them to keep them together. And then we're gonna tear through the whole stack. 1 tear, 2 tears, and then we are going to, keeping them all nicely stacked together, add another paper clip and put in another tear here, and again we're going to add another paper clip and we're going to tear like that. So we've got 5 torn pieces and our 5 tags. So I'm gonna try my best to keep this all on screen, but it may be a little difficult. So we're gonna set out our 5 tag bases. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm not gonna be able to keep it completely all on screen just because I don't have enough. Wait, let's see if I can pull it out. Maybe we can get it all on screen. I'm gonna just turn those kind of to the side for now. Let me take a look and see if we're all on screen. Yeah, just barely making it all on screen, because what we're gonna start doing is, so this is tag 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's important because what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with stack 1. And we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're gonna take stack 2 and we're gonna start with 2, 3, 4, 5, back to 1. Then we're going to take stack 3 and we'll start with tag 3, then go to 4, 5, 1, and 2. Stack 4, we'll start with 4, go 5, 1, 2, and 3, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the effect is each tag gets all 5 papers on it in a different location by doing that method. So it's a fairly simple, straightforward way to get multiple tags done that are collaged. So I am going to kind of stack these guys up so that we can work on one at a time, since there's not a whole heck of a lot of room to maneuver. And I am gonna grab my gray dauber, because I realized I had everything all out and I was like, oh, brown ink, and then realized I'm not gonna want to ink edges with brown for this. I'm gonna want to use a gray. So I'm going to grab some Hickory Smoke, and I'm going to ink all of my edges, especially with the pattern paper by Craft Consortium. That one, I've got too much white showing. But it'll also help the edges where they meet stand out. Okay, so I am filming this the Sunday after Valentine's Day week, and I had some pre-Valentine's Day excitement in my household. So I went out at lunch to run an errand. In fact, I ran to my vet's office to pick up my dog Bert's prescription. And while I was gone, the little darling got down from my counter, because the ironic part was I was rushing to go run the errand so I'd be back in time for a work thing at 1. All right, and we're just gonna start gluing, and I'm gonna start, I think, at the bottom corner. So I didn't do a thorough enough examination of my kitchen, and I apparently left a bag of Lint's dark chocolate truffles on the counter. So of course my dog pulls that down while I'm out at the vet's office picking up his meds and eats the entire bag. It was a brand new bag. He seems really good at doing this. I forget to put a bag of chocolate away and he manages to pull it off the counter and eat the entire bag, because this happened about a year ago. We had an incident where I left the house for like 15 minutes and he ate an entire bag of Dove dark chocolates. So this time he got the Lint's dark chocolate truffles. He also pulled down my like fruit basket thing off the counter and dumped a bag of apples and bit into, I think, pretty much all of them, but didn't eat any of them. Because, you know, he'd rather eat dark chocolate than apples. I guess he takes after his mother. So, yeah, I get home and realize I now need to rush him into the vet. And at this point, I'm pretty sure he's the one who ate all of the chocolate. But I don't know for certain that my other dog didn't get any of the chocolate. So, the other dog ends up going in as well. And so if you've never had to do this or deal with this because, you know, you're a sane human being and don't have beagles, what they do when a dog gets into something that they should not eat, and you get them to the vet soon enough. And I do have a few spots that are showing, and I'll probably just add some ink there to cover up the fact that the coffee dyed paper is showing through. So I think the 6x6 paper pads aren't cut perfectly, but there we go. That's the first tag done. So let's pull over the next one in our stack, and we're gonna repeat the process. So as I was saying, what they do is they give the dog medication that will cause them to throw up what's in their stomach. And then once they think they've thrown everything up that's harmful, they will give them medication that stops them from throwing up anymore. And then what they'll do, because they made the dog throw up, and sorry if this is too graphic for you, is that they will give them either IV fluids or a shot of subcutaneous. They'll do subcutaneous fluids, so that's this little like bump on the dog that's additional fluids to help keep them hydrated. So get them into the vet, they do the thing, and yep, it turns out Bert ate all of the chocolate. Poor Powell ended up getting tortured for nothing. And because he ate dark chocolate and, you know, the packaging wasn't all entirely intact, they also gave him charcoal. So they get done with Powell and give him back to me, because his was pretty straightforward, since he didn't actually ingest any of the chocolate. And Bart, they come back and they're like, well, we can either keep him till the end of the day, and it's about, I don't know, 1:30-ish, almost 2 o'clock. Must be close to 2 o'clock, because I got home at about 2:30. Yeah, 2:30. So they're like, we can either keep him and give him IV fluids, and keep him till the end of the day, and you can come back and pick him up, you know, after 5, or they can do the subcutaneous. And I'm like, whichever you're recommending, do that. So that decided, because he had eaten the chocolate and all that it would be better to keep him and do the IV fluids. So I leave him there. I take Powell with me, because it's just easier to deal with one dog at a time instead of 2, because they're like, well, you can leave Powell if you want, but it seems kind of silly, and Powell gets very stressed out at the vet's office. So I get home, and I'm trying to get work done, and I had to have someone cover the thing I was trying to get back in time for, that led to the rushing, that led to the leaving of chocolate out. So I'm trying to get my work done. I'm back at home, and about a half hour after I get home, I get a call from the vet's office. Apparently, Bert is not doing very well with the being at the vet's office and having the IV in, because he bit through not 1, but 2 IV lines. So they're like, we're gonna switch to the subcutaneous fluids. You need to come get him now. So I then had to rush out to the vet's office again, pick up my little darling, because he was not a fan of the IV fluids. And so I did that and bring him home, and the vet's office is like, okay, well, you need to bring him back in tomorrow morning for lab work, because when they ingest something like the chocolate, it takes 6 to 8 hours to show up in their system. So they wanted to do some lab work to make sure everything was functioning normal. So I'm like, okay, fine. And they're like, do you want to do an actual appointment or a drop-off? And I'm like, well, might as well do a drop-off, because then I can do it first thing in the morning, miss as little work as possible, and then pick him up later. So I was kind of hoping that would work out. So I show up the next day with Bert in tow, figuring this is going to be quick. I'm just dropping him off, and then I can go back to work. And yeah, that's not what ended up happening. First, for some reason that I still don't quite fathom, is they didn't have the orders in the system yet for, you know, my vet's office gives me like an estimate of costs before they do anything. So they didn't have that ready when I got there, which makes no sense to me since you knew yesterday afternoon I was coming back for lab work. And so you should have had the plan all set. So we wait a good 20 minutes because the vet was in with someone else to get the orders done. And then the vet tech comes in and it's like, well, since he didn't do so well with being left here yesterday, instead of doing a drop-off appointment, we want you to, you know, do a regular appointment instead. It's like, okay, fine. And so they run the in-house labs, and I have to wait because it takes a good half hour or so for the labs to run. So yeah, my quick drop-off appointment ended up being a 2-hour vet visit. I was less than thrilled with that, especially since a chunk of that delay was because they didn't have the orders in, and that just seems ridiculous to me, given that I was coming in, you know, it wasn't like I just showed up out of the blue and they needed to figure out what they were going to do. So, yeah, that was my fun, that's how I spent my Valentine's Day morning, was sitting in the vet's office with my dog, waiting for him to get his labs done, and then waiting for his lab results. On the upside, he's fine. The labs came back all clear. I do need to bring him back again. They're gonna do another recheck in 2 weeks, so we've got another appointment. And then, of course, when I was picking up his meds on Tuesday, I needed to schedule a follow-up visit for my other dog because he had had an issue with his back at the end of January. And he was supposed to go for his follow-up when I was, you know, sick with the flu. So I canceled that appointment. And so I was at the vet's office. When I was at the vet's office picking up Bert's prescription, I was like, well, let's go ahead and make Powell's appointment for his follow-up. So I scheduled that for like 4 p.m. on Friday. So I went to my vet's office Tuesday, 3 times I drove over there. Wednesday, 1 visit over there, and then Friday of last week, which will probably be 2 weeks ago when this video airs. So yeah, we had lots of fun vet visiting Valentine's week. So yeah, not exactly how I would have liked to spend Valentine's. So yeah, I have gone through my house because when I left the house to take Powell to his appointment on Friday, since I was leaving Bert home, I went through my entire house, or my entire kitchen area, spent a good 20 minutes making sure there's absolutely nothing on any of the counters anywhere that he could actually consume. So yeah, my counters are fairly empty right now, which is, you know, I'm kind of one of those, I'm a clutter junkie. Like, I tend to be cluttered everywhere in my life, my kitchen counters being no exception. So yeah, it's really weird how empty my kitchen counters are right now. So yeah, my goal is to keep them that way so I don't have to deal with any more emergency vet visits for Bert because he has consumed something he shouldn't. Because yeah, you may remember back in December I had an issue with him figuring out how to get into my pantry and raiding the pantry for stuff. Yeah, while I was doing the clearing off the counters, I had the pantry, the top section of my pantry doors open, and all of a sudden I hear this noise and he's like trying to get in there. I'm like, really, dude? I'm right here. Stop it. So yeah, as I think one of the vet techs said, beagles are gonna beagle, and getting into stuff is definitely something the beagles are very, very good at. Yeah, they've not been too happy this weekend because it has been raining nonstop pretty much all weekend long. And so my one dog's kind of like, I keep getting the looks from them where they're like, Mom, make the rain stops. Make it stops. I want to go out, make it stops. I'm like, sorry, don't have that power. So they have not been too happy with the fact that it is a rainy weekend. So, and I went over to my dad's house on yesterday, because his Christmas tree was still up and decorated, because part of it was I kept forgetting I had to go over and undecorate his house for Christmas. And then when I was planning on going and doing it, it was the weekend I got sick. And so I had to wait until I was well enough. And last weekend I was feeling better, but not 100%. And my dad's like, it's not a big deal. Because my sister went over and they undecorated like the knick-knacky bits around the house, and she just didn't have time to undecorate the tree. So I was like, that's fine, I can take care of undecorating the tree. So, and my dad wasn't bothered by the tree because it's, you know, in a spot that's out of the way. He just wanted the knickknacks off counters and the dining room table and stuff like that, so that he could spread paperwork out to sort through. So I went over there and spent a little while hanging out with my dad and undecorating the Christmas tree. And he just got a new Subaru that he is thoroughly enjoying. It's got all the bells and whistles, because I'm trying to think, he had a Saturn Ion, which I'm pretty sure his Saturn Ion was older than the Saturn I had, and I had an 08 Saturn before I traded it for my mom's car, which is actually an 01 Toyota Avalon. So it was an older car, but less mileage on it than my Saturn was. So his had to have been an 07 or earlier Saturn Ion. Like, I'm not sure what year it was, but he has been wanting to trade it in for a Subaru for a while, because he wanted to go from a sedan to an SUV, because, you know, he's got projects all over his house that he does, and in the garden, and he pointed out he's already made two runs for lumber since getting his new vehicle. So he's all kinds of excited about his new Subaru. So I got to see that finally, because I went over when I was over there. So that's about all the excitement in my household, and it's more excitement than I can stand with the dogs. Oh, I got home, and at first I was like, oh, things are good. He didn't get into anything. And then I walked further into the house and realized, oh no, he did. And then I saw the empty chocolate bag, and I was like, oh no. Because, yeah, he pretty much just swallows them whole. Like, they just doesn't even enjoy them. Just swallows things down whole. It's amazing to see. Like, with just about every treat I give him, he does not chew. The dog does not chew. I keep telling him he needs to slow down and chew, and he just doesn't listen, surprisingly. So yeah, that was my fun and exciting Valentine's Day week. So, did you and your significant other do anything fun and exciting for Valentine's Day? I didn't have any, exciting Valentine's Day plans regardless. And I'm just realizing now that Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday fell on the same day this year. So that might have put a damper on at least the Catholics out there's Valentine's Day celebrations. So yeah, I was not planning on anything, because I am happily single. And I definitely wasn't planning on spending 2 hours at the vet's office so my dog could get lab work done. But that was what my Valentine's Day looked like. All right, so this is the last one of this group. And so we'll do some more whacking here in a sec. So this is a great technique to use if you struggle with doing collage, because all the decisions are already made for you. There's very little thinking involved. It's pick out 3 interesting or 5 interesting papers, stack them up, rip them apart, so you're essentially, creating your collage scrappy bits blind because you don't see anything except the top stack. And then you just assemble, and at the end you've got 5 tags, all using the same papers so they all coordinate together, but each one is different because of how you divvy out the papers. I don't know if you can hear the rain out there, but it is coming down. And so there are the first set. So I'll set those aside. And let's whack out another set. So again, I'm putting the paper clips on just to keep the pages together so that all of my tears are the same, so I don't have to worry that it won't line up right. And yeah, there's definitely a little variation with the scrapbook paper, but it's not that bad, so I'm not too worried about it. So again, we're gonna tear it into 3 to start with. Add 2 more paper clips. And tear 2 of the sections. Again, and just remember to keep your stacks the right way. Now, of course, if you wanted to tear this one as well, you could do 6 pieces of paper. You just need 6 tag bases to then add your papers onto. So again, we're gonna start and do 1. Uh-oh, I think. Ah! Somehow I managed to miss having 5 pages in this. No. How did I do that? Ah. Oh no. This is a problem. Okay, I'm gonna set this one aside for now, because I'm gonna need to pull out another paper and tear it so that it tears the same as the rest of the papers, which is gonna be difficult. So we're gonna set this stack aside and do the other stack, and I'm gonna just double check and make sure I have all of the papers I need in that stack. I sat there and counted everybody off. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this one only has 4 in it. Let me find another paper. Okay, 5. All right, I'm glad I double checked that before we started, because that would have been not good. Let me grab some more paper clips. And we're gonna rip. Rip. Add another paper clip. Rip. Add another paper clip and rip. All right, let's lay out our tag bases again. Let's try this again. And I just realized something. I paused my timer and I thought it was still running, and I was like, goodness, I still have a ton of time left. And I didn't actually restart it. So I'm gonna pause this for a second and figure out how much time I actually have left. Okay, after consulting the footage, I realized we've got about 24 minutes left, or roughly that much. So let's get going and actually hopefully get this stack done. I was looking at my timer and I'm like, how is it that I have that much time left? That doesn't seem right. And then I noticed, oh, it's not actually moving. That would be how. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yep. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And then, oh, I'm like, something seems off. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm gonna stack these guys up again and move them off to the side. And we're gonna do this stack. And I've got Victorian Velvet, and I'm gonna use that to paint the edges, and I'm regretting that choice a little bit because I think I should have gone with a lighter pink. And I may grab a lighter pink for the rest. Although actually this does make a nice contrast. So maybe not. This piece is a little plain. Apparently I got the edge of the page. But this is only step 1. You know, the tag's obviously going to get decorated, so I'm not too worried about the fact that that's plain. I can always cover that with something when I decorate the tag or add some stamping to it. All right. Let's start the gluing. hear that in the background. That's just my dryer letting me know my towels are dry, which I really do need to do a load of regular laundry as well. All right, 1. And, you know, it's gone kind of quiet, but I think I've run out of things to talk about. Other than my dogs getting into trouble, I don't lead a very exciting life. Yes, that way. Okay. Which means I inked the wrong side on that one. Yes, this goes like that. Yep, I inked the wrong side. So we're going to re-ink this one, I think, unless it goes like that. Nope, that does not fit right at all. It goes like that. I inked the wrong side. Easily fixed. I'm also going to, because I've noticed I tend to get a little bit of a gap going where these, when I have these two pieces, so might as well ink now so that the base is inked to hide the fact that they are not meeting up exactly perfectly. Cool. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is really coming down rain-wise outside. Like it is really raining. And with the rain came a cold front, so instead of being in the 80s, we have been in the 60s the last 2 days, which I actually like. I like the cooler weather. Don't think it's lasting for very long because, well, it's Florida and it's February, so that's what our weather's like. I think after I get this one assembled, I'm going to have to take a pause because I thought I'd get started in enough time to get this done before the lunch I ordered arrived, but I think it's supposed to be here about now. So let's finish gluing this one and I will take a pause and come back and we can get the last two of these glued together and then maybe decorate one of them. All right, so we're gonna pause that and I'll be back. So I realized when I took my lunch break that I had done bad math when I tried to figure out how much time had passed when I didn't have the timer going, and I only have about 6 minutes left. So we're gonna start the timer and finish assembling the last two, and unfortunately we're not gonna have time to decorate any of these. And of course, because I started the video again, my dog is like, I would like to go out in the yards. Oh wait, maybe he's just relocating to the other room. And I have figured out, I think, how I'm going to fix the one that I did not have 5 pieces of paper for. So I will show you that. Before time is up, or even if time is up. But yeah, I was uploading the video footage while I ate my lunch and looked at it and went, oh, I had a complete and utter brain freeze when I was doing the math for how much time had already elapsed. So yeah, definitely not my smoothest move recently. All right, let's get this one glued together as quickly as possible. All right, we've got one more of the pink ones. So let's get that assembled real quick. All right, now for the B one, what I've done is I've taken the pieces and paper clipped them to another piece of paper, and I'm gonna hopefully be able to just tear pieces out that are gonna work. Fingers crossed. There may be more gaps on this one than the other guys, because yeah, it's not tearing out perfectly, so they're not going to match up exactly. And what I may do is go ahead and assemble these guys so that I can show you what they ended up looking like when I got done with them. But we are just about at time, so let's go ahead and stop the timer. And I'm gonna off camera assemble these and then show you everything we got done today. So I'll be back. All right, so I did go ahead and assemble the ones that I had forgotten the 5th page for, and I've got some gaps on them, but it's not too bad since I used the coffee dyed paper for the backing. The gaps aren't really showing up all that much, so I got that stacked on. Then on camera I did this set in our shades of pink. So I got those done. And then the more industrial set. So, unfortunately, ran out of time because of, stopping and starting the timer issues that I had. I'm gonna call that it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.